Good morning. It's another Saturday morning. It is Junkanoo 242, the longest running cultural show in the Bahamas. And guess what we talking? Junkanoo. Good morning, everybody. Everybody in the family of islands. Everybody who's tuned in to us, whether it's by Facebook, on the radio. Hey, we want to say good morning. It's another Saturday morning. Get on up. You're in the V Shack with us. Arlene, how you doing this morning?
Morning, how's it going?
Man, Arlene, you sound like you ain't get up yet, man. What
No,
up?
it's a rough morning, rough morning.
Arlene, I didn't tell you last week was the last week for parking cutting. And I know you ain't in no parking line, so I don't even know what you're looking for a headache for. What is the problem?
The problem is, the problem is my glitter stretcher ain't working.
I think
You got
Basti
your
ain't
left
got
hand plier?
Basti ain't got one of them,
And
buddy.
I can't find my left hand pliers.
Chairman, how you doing, man? How you doing?
But I am alive and kicking. That's all I can say, boss.
Man, that's good, man. That's a good start, and we happy that you could say that because a lot of people didn't get an opportunity to say that. But we're here.
Absolutely.
We're here. Before we go any further, Arlene, would you get us started with our prayer, please?
Absolutely. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, for the gift of life, we give you thanks. For our nation, we pray for peace, progress, prosperity, and principle, recovery, and restoration. And for ourselves, we pray for wisdom to use all of your gifts wisely, especially the gift of Junkanoo, so that we may honor you, serve your people, build better communities, a better Bahamas, and a better world. Amen.
Um,
Amen.
proud to
Proud
be.
to be Bahamian.
Well, we've gotten a request this morning
Mm.
to from the Junkanoo Corporation, New Providence, for us to do a very quick number draw for the Labor Day parade, just so that there is order and decency at the gate. There are actually only three groups that have signed up, and so that should not be very difficult. And so I am thinking that we should do that when we come back from the first break, since this is virtual, and since they have told us to go ahead. I'm going to put those three names on three separate sheets of paper, and I'm going to juggle them around in a little container I have here and draw out, and that'll be it. How does that sound?
No,
Arlene,
no.
I
We
don't
gotta
want
see.
no. Yeah, we don't want no hanky pikey going on in your juggling of them three names now.
I need to see if her arms before she put her.
You see, this is exactly why I
I,
told
I,
Natasha one of them should come in here and do it, because I ain't out for no lip from y'all this
next thing,
morning.
you,
no
next thing
long
you
sleeve.
know,
No long. Hey, Darren. No long
uh,
sleeve. I want to see from her elbow down.
yeah, next thing you know, Sting got the best number. Talking about he coming out right in the middle. No, my brother, no,
Let's put it this way. There are only three groups, 2A, and 1B. We have one family, we have the Saxons, and we have the Redland soldiers. They are the three groups that have committed. So no matter how you slice it, in my mind, the way we always do it for independence, we have the B division in a separate in a separate bag. And so it's just a question of whether one family coming out first and the Saxons closing off the morning, or vice versa. This ain't no long story at all.
you
We
know
still
what?
want to see.
Huh?
We still want to see her elbow. Don't wear no long sleeve.
I'll be ready as soon as we come out of our first break.
Folks, we're gonna run to our first break. Return in the Jungle 242. We'll be right back.
You hear on this radio station is governed by IRCA's Code of Practice for Content Regulation. The Code of Practice covers matters relating to program content that are of concern to the community, such as local content, news, current affairs, and programs for children, advertising, including political advertisements, and the responsibilities associated with broadcasting in the Bahamas. The code also covers aspects such as access services for the hearing and visually impaired, and the procedure for lodging a complaint about anything broadcast by this station. The code is available on the IRCA website at www.ircabahamas.vs. To receive a copy of the code by mail or in person, you may telephone IRCA at 242-393-0234. Family Island dialing is toll-free at 1-242-300-8722, or you may send a request by email to info@ircabahamas.vs.
So you saw Larry take the money off the teacher's desk.
Yes, Mom.
And you told the teacher.
No, Mom.
Why not?
Because Larry wouldn't want to be my friend no more.
Honey, Larry did something wrong and you need to tell an adult. You may feel bad, but it is important that you do the right thing. Nobody has to find out that you told.
Okay.
Small crimes lead to big crimes. If you see a crime, you can call Crime Stoppers. It's safe and easy, and nobody knows who you are. You'll speak directly to someone in Miami or Toronto, Canada. They never ask anything about you. So be brave and do the right thing. We all need to help. Stop the crime before it's our time.
Guess what, Mommy? I feel good because I told somebody about Larry and the teacher get our money back. So pick up the phone. No one will never call you a snitch.
Call Crime Stoppers Bahamas today at 328-8477 or from the Family Islands, 242-300-8477. It's safe, and the life you save may be your own.
This public service announcement was brought to you by Crime Stoppers in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Welcome back, folks. You're turning to Junkanoo 242. We're gonna go straight to the virtual drawing for the Labor Day. I mean, I was telling Bastian all for the past 2 years, we getting closer to getting the pay. And I just want him to know, once you see we have a Labor Day parade, that means we getting closer and closer to pay. I don't want no excuses now. Okay, so I'll leave me handing it to you. You better show your hands because he gonna want to see your elbow and every day.
Okay, let's go. We have 3 groups that have registered, indicated that they will be there. I don't understand why, but we'll do that after. We'll do that after the draw. And so we have the Redland soldiers who are committed, and usually we have for all of our parades A, B, A, B. So we know that Redland will be group number 2. Now, group number 1 and group number 3 will be either Mr. Bastian, peel your little eyeball.
What that is? SAXONS?
Yes. And this one says, can you read? What did they send you to school?
ONEFAMILY?
Okay, fine. So watch me now. I am going to fold them and I'm putting a little lining there so that I can't see anything on the back in case that red pen, you could see it from the back, but now you can't. I'm folding them.
So good. So far, so good.
So good, right. And I am folding them. This is the first one. I'm dropping it in a plastic clear container. No, thank you. Thank you.
That's where you going wrong right now. Plastic. It's plastic.
It's all downhill from there. So no matter how you slice it, you can't lose because Labor Day is always very exciting when you are the first group or the last. And so one copy
I
Huh?
want to be the last group on Labor Day, boss.
Why not?
That's a long week.
A long way. Wait. Not
Yeah.
if it's only 3 groups.
Well, we know it could be more than 3 groups now. We know that.
All right. Well,
What
they'll have to
happened?
come after though.
Yeah.
So here we go. We have two pieces of paper in here, and we are going to shake them around. Shake them around. Shake them around and round. We go the mulberry bush up and down, round and round. All right. And so watch my elbow. I'm going
Yep.
for a
We
real
have.
puppy. Y'all got me for a real puppy show. Okay. So here we go. I know you see my eyeballs. You can't see them. My eyes are closed.
Open your eyes and see. Open your eyes and see.
And so I put my hand in. I'm picking out this one. Okay. So let's see who will start the Labor Day Junkanoo parade. And the suspense and the excitement builds as she slowly unfolds the paper. And lo and behold, what name is in here? Are you watching? Are you watching? Who is it? It's one family.
Oh, no problem. One family comes out first for Labor Day,
Right. And then the Redland Soldiers.
right?
And then, just to make sure our integrity is intact, the Saxons will be the grand finale.
All right.
It sounds wonderful. And so, JCNP, you have your order of entry. It is one family, it is Redland Soldiers, it is Saxons, and that is next Friday morning. And the JCNP will give all the further details to member groups. And so, thank you, gentlemen. We can get back to normal now. And my integrity remains intact. Just let the record show.
Yes. We had clear view of your elbow, so everything is fine. No long
No hanky panky.
Go.
Okay, so DF, get rolling with the let's get back to our regular routine.
Okay, well, I just letting it soak in a little bit for everybody. But folks, we're tuning in to Junkanoo 242. We just had a big draw for the Labor Day parade, and after the Easter rush, after that big Easter rush that we had coming down Wolf Road, everybody was excited and anticipating the Labor Day parade to see the groups
Yeah.
come out and form and see, what they've been holding on or what's still left of them after 2 years. Because I don't even know if Bastian can dance anymore. So
Boy, it can be rough.
Well, Ronald has asked the question, what happens in the event that other groups show up? Now, remember, Labor Day is one of our street parades.
Right.
It's very informal. And so if any other group shows up, they just tag right on after the Saxons, and the parade continues. But, my point is, I'm disappointed that not more groups have said they will be there. Like Ronald is saying, that doesn't mean they won't be there. But, we have been off of Bay Street for so long. I would have thought that everybody would have been just biting their gums to get out there. And remember now, this is not a competition. This is the essence of Junkanoo. This is celebration.
Mhm.
And so let's stay focused on that. It doesn't matter if your group ain't perfect or you ain't get your brass together yet. Who cares? Let's go out there and have ourselves a wonderful time. It's all about celebration and getting back to Bay. Back to Bay. That sounds like a good slogan. We better teach that for independence.
Ron said they must be going to the islands, man. That's why they ain't coming.
Oh boy. Well, that's a good reason for sure. No two ways about it.
Well, folks, it's another special show we have lined up, and we have a special guest waiting in the wings because y'all just getting carried away. Y'all just gonna go to Labor Day, and we got a whole show to do before we get to Labor Day. Okay,
Mhm.
folks, we have a very special guest in the person, right?
You
In the
haven't done the timeline.
Oh, well, okay, let's do the timeline. From the Junkanoo archives on the Junkanoo timeline, the year was 1922. On the morning of March 31st, fire completely destroyed the wooden Hotel Colonial on Marlborough Street. Disappointed Bahamian workers hoping for good construction jobs found that these went to imported workers from Cuba. The tension erupted into a near riot in December, and Bahamians were punished by having the Junkanoo parades banned for that year. But when the government decided to return Junkanoo to Bay Street, the Bahamian workers decided to stay over the hill and support their own. Another proud moment on the Junkanoo timeline.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Junkanoo 242. The E-Shack is wide open this morning, and it's definitely a pleasure to be in your company and to have you in our company. This morning, we have the distinct pleasure of inviting or sitting on the drums in the E-Shack with a Mr. Kim Thompson. Kim, how are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I see that Darren Ali Nash and your host. Oh man, this is a pleasure this morning.
Kim, I haven't seen you. The last time I saw you was a few weeks ago. We ain't gonna say where we saw each other, but it brought back to mind a lot of those times in Junkanoo when you were the lead drummer for so many different things. For the Valley Boys, and then one time for one family, a few times for one family, I believe. But before we get into that, give us a brief history of your Junkanoo story. A brief, tell us about your Junkanoo story.
Oh man, that's some years ago. But my Junkanoo story really started because I come up under the product of Gus Cooper, where my dad was a Junkanoo, also one of the lead drummers in the Valley Boys, like I think over 30, 40 years. And so I had no choice. So either I go to Junkanoo and took the newspaper and pushed the trolley and supplied the backline. And so I had the opportunity to follow all the great drummers in the Valley Boys, and that legacy was passed down on to me. So I was able to pick up from Lord Frog, Deuce Thompson, Galah, and I mean, you just named them, and I was able to get all that tutoring from them. And I absorbed it like a sponge. And so at age 13, Eddie Ford was able to see the gift in me, and he told Gus that don't look at that age, he have the gift. And so Eddie Ford was the one who gave me my first opportunity to be in charge or lead. I wouldn't say the greatest group in the world because everybody's get offended with that, but I'll say the most winning group in the world at that time. And so that's how my first opportunity came, and then the rest was history. I was able to not become good, but make people around me great, and that was the key why we was able to win so much music and being so dominant. It wasn't because I was good at what I did, but I had a craft to empower people around me and make them believe in themselves that they are great. And that's the key to winning music. That's why it's so hard to beat me, because it ain't but me. It's team, TAM. And I thank God I was able to beat Ali Nash too, because I learned a lot of that from her too. And so a lot of persons that I would pick teams from and combine it with my skills. Because even right now, after being off Bay Street for almost 20 something years, I got involved in church, and I met Wola. He was telling me he's bringing cancer, to cure the cancer. And I tell him, I said, man, that's a powerful team, because so much people in our country are sick from that. And that's when I realized that music's still easy to win. It ain't hard to just our culture. And we have to get to a place in Junkanoo where this our thing. And so it depends how we treat it, it'll be there for life. And the knowledge that I have, you'll see it in every major group. I think I was one of the only drummers who will walk around this whole country and never be opposed. Because most everyone of my step. And that's something I promised myself I will not take to the grave. And I try to pass it on to persons because I don't think I'll be on Bay Street like that anymore because it ain't nothing to accomplish. But I think before I stop, I gotta come dance with Darren one more time.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah, let me just tell you this before I close. You know, when you say I rushed with one family is amazing because that was a challenge for me to rush with one family because the man who teach me everything about Junkanoo, and most people don't believe this, is that Gus Cooper really teach me how to be unstoppable. And he teach me the art of day tree. And I haven't seen no one learn that yet. They think they know, but they don't. And the strategies and the stuff he showed me on Bay Street, not beating the drum, but learning the street, learning the road, learning the buildings. That was the key. And that's why music's so easy for me to learn, because, you know, one can do it still. You know, those lines in the road, they are important. Those buildings important. The chemistry of music is important. And let me just say this again. I had the greatest music director, which is Ronald Sims. And so I know exactly what he would do. I know all the different keys. And I just wasn't a drummer. I have an ear. So I know all the different tempo to pick up in the slow. And that's all it takes. But everyone just want to put on the drum, put on the show. And be trying to go to Trinidad style, you know, drum line. That don't win music. We are Junkanooers. Junkanoo music don't change it. When you try to change it, then you give the judge's problem how to judge you to win music. You know, so there's a lot of stuff I could say, but the bottom line is that I ain't gonna take it to, I will not take it to my grave. When you see Rumpa Bump, Bumpa Pump Pump, that's me. When you see Rico, that's me. And I could go on and on and on. So for me personally, I did my part. And I feel like a lot of drummers that are beating the day, I see me in them. You know, and I thank God the respect that I give Alexander Green, the fastest hand in Junkanoo. I will never disrespect him because he made me what I is today. And I thank God for him for pushing me to that level to get to where I is. So him and Davey Port, they the two would really cause me couldn't sleep at night. You know, because every night I got something event, I said, I don't think so. And so I had the giant Saxon, tell him I can rush with them just to learn Davey Road. I already had lick style. So when I go in Mason, I just try to study them. Take me 4 or 5 years to learn their craft. And then I went back to the valley and I said, I think I know how to do it. So you have to do your homework. That's why you always build a costume and go in the shop. It's the same thing with that backline. You have to critique it. But in this day and time with social media, I can beat you all from Freeport. I don't have to be an asshole.
So you called some names earlier. You spoke specifically about Gala and all of those. How did you, as a young man, end up under the tutelage of Junkanoo legends like that? How did that happen?
Well, because my dad was one of the greatest stone drumming next to Lord Frog in the valley, and Lord Frog was living right around by me. So what I do at the age of 10, I would go under as he had the drums and learn his style. I already had my dad's style, but that wasn't good enough for me. As a young man, I always had this thing that I want to be the best at whatever I wanted. And everything I did in life, I was trained to be the best. Because at age 10, my dad was a professional cyclist, so I was training on bicycle to be good at that. So at age 13, I was already national road champion in Cornwall, the Bahamas in cycling. And so I transferred that into Junkanoo. I say, if I could become the best in cycling as my dad, then I could do the same thing in drumming. And so I take that same energy and I practice 3-4 hours every day home. And I did that every day. That wasn't something I did. That's when the Junkanoo season started. And then I would go on each street and go by Chippy and try to learn from Chippy. And I just was sponging from different drummers just to learn. And I didn't settle I don't like getting beat. I hate that. And so it drive me to a point to check out all those legends. I refuse to let them go to the grave without teaching me. And so I'll spend time going to their house and sit down and asking them questions how I could get better. And they look at it as a pleasure to pass their knowledge on. And that's why I have my hands. I can knock about 5 different beats on bass string. I could roll, I could go to bass, I could go to bottom. And that comes from those guys, those elders would teach me. And I believe that if we pass our knowledge down to this generation but behind us, it could take Junkanoo further. And so a lot of person will get mad if they see me go by roots and have someone, they figure like, oh, I just want to be from group. That ain't what I was doing. Right now, as a pastor, and I refuse to carry my knowledge to the grave. And so if anything I could do to help Junkanoo, even that is judging Junkanoo, helping anything, I will be able. Because at the end of the day, Darren, you know, we ain't getting no younger. You know, I in the 50s now. But these badges on me, that mean I on the third Thompson, I was standing by with some cruise ship coming in. So I would have loved to do that, but I am now sort of work. So I just want to let you all know that at the end of the day, you're doing a good job in keeping Junkanoo alive. And I thank God for Arlene for her continue support you and Darren. Y'all doing a great work, man. So anything I can do to help, just let me know.
Basti, and you're muted.
Also tell us about how you became, I guess, lead drummer of the Valley Boys. How did that happen?
Well, that was kind of a little tough. I think a lot of it happened because at that time we was in a position where a changing of the guard, and one of our drummers, I think he left to go with Paul Knowles, I believe. I think that would have been Gulfie at the time. That's his nickname. And so Eddie Ford decided that they should give me a chance, but he saw the talent in me. And so, and then I had a lot, even though they give me the opportunity, I still had a supporting cast with senior drummers like Carl, Tall Carl, can't remember everyone, but there was a core of our leaders. The Valley wasn't just run by one drummer. It's like 5 or 6 of them. You might be the one that kick over the music and they consider you the start person. But then you still had the late Howard. Howard was key to mentor me on the front line because he had that discipline from the policeman on how to set structure and order. So all those things was building me at the time. At age 13, I was rolling over and making sure I set the tempo of music. But you had key people like Howard and some other lead drummers who direct me so that I would know how to set what tempo, when to slow down and walk the line, how to set the music from the back, the middle, and the front. It's a lot of work. And so I thank God for Howard because he was the key and mentored me at age 13 to become what I is today, or was at the time, because a little old now.
Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our second break, and on the other side of that break, we're going to continue our conversation with Kim Thompson. See you on the other side of that break.
You saw Larry take the money off the teacher's desk.
Yes, Mom.
And you told the teacher.
No, Mom.
Why not?
Because Larry wouldn't want to be my friend no more.
Honey, Larry did something wrong and you need to tell an adult. You may feel bad, but it is important that you do the right thing. Nobody has to find out that you told.
Okay.
Small crimes lead to big crimes. You can call Crime Stoppers. It's safe and easy, and nobody knows who you are. You'll speak directly to someone in Miami or Toronto, Canada. They never ask anything about you. So be brave and do the right thing. We all need to help. Stop the crime before it's our time.
Sweet mommy. I feel good because I told somebody about Larry and the teacher get our money back. So pick up the phone. No one will never call you a snitch.
Call Crime Stoppers Bahamas today at 328-8477 or from the Family Island 242-300-8477. It's safe, and the life you save may be your own.
This public service announcement was brought to you by Crime Stoppers in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
As we embark upon another year of God's grace, mercy, and nationwide broadcasting, join us May 29th, 10 a.m. for a church anniversary service live from the Faith United Missionary Baptist Church, Faith United Way. As Radio Bahamas celebrates 86 continuous years of informative, educational, entertaining, and inspirational radio broadcasts. Tune in as we continue to ensure that only the sun covers the Bahamas better than Radio Bahamas.
It doesn't matter what comes my
ZLS Radio, celebrating 86 years.
Intentional.
From the Junkanoo Library, filed under W for worker. Next Friday is Labor Day. Many times we hear the comment that Bahamians don't want to work. Sometimes we even hear that Bahamians are lazy. In Junkanoo, we see the exact opposite. Imagine the Bahamas where people are begging to work with no pay. Imagine the Bahamas where people complain because they don't have enough work to do. Imagine the Bahamas where young men spend as many as 18 hours a day on the job and don't complain. We see this every year in Junkanoo. Certainly food for thought. Our Junkanoo, we work so hard at it.
Welcome back. You're tuning in to Junkanoo 242, the whistle blow. And we're all lined up, and now it's time for the first lap, man. The drum licking in the background, Bastian. This morning, we're delighted to have our special guest, drummer extraordinaire, Kim Thompson, taking us down the trip memory lane. Bastian, I'm going to let you pick up with your line of questions right where we left off.
All right, sure. So, Kim, now you started to talk about your how you became the kickoff drum. I guess that's what you want to say. In Valley Boys at the age of 13. Tell us about the journey from there to when you decided for the first time that you wanted to go and learn or study under the tutelage of somebody else. What were some of the challenges that you would have faced as a 13-year-old drummer, quote unquote, leading the backline for an organization like the Valley Boys?
That I think what really happened, that was internal for me, because I think me and my leader got my little papa, and I tell him I could go to any group and I could win. So he tell me that can't happen. But I think he just joking, but I take it because I was young. And I wouldn't say cocky, but I got to a place in my life that because of cycling and watching how I dominated from age 13 and went almost undefeated for years and traveled the world, I realized that I had a gift that whatever I put my hand to, I could be successful at it. And so me and him had a conversation, me just part of Junkanoo. I'll always respect him and his family. I miss him because I learned so much from him. And he said, no, you can't, you can't win. So I say, okay, tell you what I can do. I can go to family and fought. In 4 years, I'll stop you. He looked at me and he said, he thought I was joking. So I said, okay. And my whole family turned against me because everybody is Valley Boys. So I was the only one family on each street. I say, well, I have to see if I could start my legacy. I was in the shadow of all the greatest drummers. And so when I get up and I talk, I couldn't share that spotlight as Kim. It always was because either Air teach me or Eddie Ford did this or Daddy did this. And I tired of that shadow. So I went to one family off East Street and I told the late Jackson and Stan and I said, man, they coming over. And I went to that group and I said, man, I said, I want to start from the bottom. I don't need no help. I just can work my hip off, my behind off. I can do what it takes and I can work. And I'll go by the Junkanoo Expo. I thank God for that. And I just study everybody on that big screen every day. And so as I did that, I realized that I could go on my own. I don't need to be in the shadow of my dad and the legacy of the Wally Boys. I already accomplished everything there. But I think it was, I couldn't share, so to me personally, Junkanoo is team, T-A-M. You're not going to be successful if you ain't get that support. A backline only as strong as everyone else. The weakest link will make you strong. You got to combine all them different talents and be able to bring that into one home on Bay Street. So for me, leaving and going the family with I think that was Angel Morning. And so me and Jackson Burnside, the late Jackson Burnside, was standing on Bay Street. And I told him, I said, no, we get second this morning. He said, well, how you know that? I said, we ain't ready yet. I say, not this one. We can get second. When the prize called, we get second. He said, how you know that? Because we line up right. Can't win like that. So the next morning, I think it was Africa, I think. I'm sure. And so I had a this is what I'll tell you now about Junkanoo. You go to Taylor Street, young little fella, only must be about 12 years old, named Chrissy. I put him in the front of the group and I went straight to the back. That's how I tell them they can't beat me. I say, tell Chrissy, start the group. And everybody going crazy, like, no, he too young. But I was 13. So why he too young? And I train him. So I let him start and I come from the back. And I was able to win that parade and sweep the parade. And music was win from the back. It's more, what I'm saying is that from that day, I felt like that was my stepping out to say, I arrived. I was not no more shadow. And I think family was the hardest group to beat. Only just that, like when you knew on Bay Street, they didn't want to give you your prize right away. So I will be a part of when this group cracked first. I was a part of history. Because ain't nobody gain family nothing. They gain family fought every morning. And plenty of times we win. And I felt like, boy, they beat us. But I don't know what's going wrong. But then Gus began to show me what's going wrong. That's why I got to tell family, I feel like we could win. We just got to get this music right. And I thank God for all the presence and family that helped me to become that legend, because that's when my legacy started. To me personally, I don't think I was no superstar or no legend in the Valley because I was under Thomas shadow. Even though they tell me I was good, but I was building off other personal legacy that was set before me, because the Wally Boys is a legacy group. You only following after one great leader, But in family, I had the great part was on the thing that was my idol, and Junkanoo, and he was like getting down in it. So it wasn't like I had to compete against him, and he gave me all that support. And all those senior drummers from the Saxon, who I rushed for years, they just pour into me, and we work together. And so that's when I really feel like the Jordan. That's when everyone started calling me the Jordan of Junkanoo. That's why I got my name, not in the Wally. I got that in family.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
What is in your mind? What is Junkanoo?
Well, that's our way of life. That's our expression. That's us as a people. If you remember in the 60s and the 70s, you want to tell a Bahamian, you hear when they go get the water from the pump. Like I know when I used to go to the pump, I got my little bucket and I knock in the tune. And so that's how we express ourselves. That's the way of our life, And so even at this age, I still playing my Junkanoo music in the car. The Bahamian music is all I listen to. I ain't one like that have to listen to reggae and different culture. I all Bahamian. And so when it comes to our culture, I'm very sensitive. And so when we try to add or take away from what we are, they just give me a little setback, And so music and our culture, I feel like if we could just find some way to keep on expressing it, I pray in the day we can get our museum back, because those big costumes and stuff, man, it just hurt my heart to see when Junkanoo over they just go. And so even with our music and in our Junkanoo beats, I sometimes I wonder if we keeping them. I could show you a clipping right now that came from Philadelphia. The guy sent me a picture in the 80s where I was rushing next to Sweeten, who was the director at the Valley when we rolled over. And I was beating in the front of the brass. This picture like almost 30 years old. And if you listen to the music from that parade, is so unique. I don't even think you could copyright it. I mean, you can't even sell it. You can't even fabricate it. And that's what we lose it, So I pray that person like yourself and Harley Nash and the rest of us, if we can find somebody that don't let this die, that it live on. This would make us. We all be human. We ain't trying to be African and Jamaican. We be human. We different. We's a different type of people. We unique. We loving. We kind. We got the best scene in the world, the best artists. Man, we got everything right. We's a unique country. And that's why I tell them, Junkanoo, there's nothing like it in the whole world. And so we have to do our best to keep that.
So if you, hypothetically speaking, you're walking down any street in the world and somebody comes to you and they say, where are you from? Oh, I'm from the Bahamas. Will clearly be your first response. And they say, I've heard about this thing called Junkanoo. How would you describe that to that person? How would you describe Junkanoo to that person?
Well, that's something I do on a regular basis, so that easy. First thing first, foremost, is an experience you'll never be able to duplicate no part of the world. And so first thing I'll do, I'll even draw illustration of Trinidad to see if they ever see Trinidad Carnival first. And once they tell me that it's easy for me to flow and start to describe our culture, and I tell them what the people, the drums, or making it from an animal skin, and then using the tom-toms and the cowbells, tell them all of that. And then I show them the unique way how the music is enhanced. And then with me having to get, I could beat on wood or cardboard, I can make music with my hand. Even I could even do it with my mouth. And so when I begin to express it, and then let them know that close to 50,000 persons that is being gathered on Bay Street, and at the early hours of the morning, where it rain, hurricane, storm, and they have such an energy. It brings such a life to our country, and as a people, that's something we live for. We breathe that. Junkanoo season starts at the same time of the year, and you'll find hundreds and hundreds of participants all over the different islands. Over the different part of Nassau, practicing every Thursday and Sunday. It becomes an event that you go, man, there's so much things you will tell them. And as a tourist, you don't even have to go far because our culture is on the main street where you live, and you got to just walk in the hotel and you're right in the center of a facility that you never see in no part of the world. And when they started to hear that, because I work in the tourist industry right now, if you look at me, I fully dress. So even with the tourists, when they come off the cruise ship, and we have our Junkanoo shows that come to even beat, and they take it back. I try to get them some little brochures and stuff to even market it. So it's something that I do regularly, and just because you bring the question, because I work in that industry, and I always try to market our culture. So for me, I think that's what to draw a lot of tourists in our country during the Christmas time. Especially like for me right now, I'm getting ready to go away in the next 20 days in Missouri to represent my country and my craft as a pastor. So I'll be down there, and trust me, I do always invite people to our country, and I always tell them we have an event in December. It's second to none. I don't compete this with nothing in the world because I think we are different. And so when I tell them with the big costumes and how we can express anything and bring it to life on cardboard, it is like this, be like, amazed how we carve out a sculpture of someone's face and bring it so real with the airbrush. And they'll be like, is that really for true? But I pray that sometime I could have some pictures in my phone that I could just show it to them. And I think by you asking me, I think I gotta make that a business to put in this iPhone. So when I do get in stuff, I could just show it to them on pictures. Different from me showing them Junkanoo on my phone. On my phone, I have a lot of different clippings of I beaten in a backline. I don't get rid of them. That's my little motivation to keep me that I still get beat sometimes. Aaron, you're sitting back.
I have a question. Yeah, I have a few questions for you actually. You speak
Yeah, go ahead,
about
sir.
your hunger to learn from others. Do you see that desire in the participants, who are involved in Junkanoo today?
Yeah, they ain't gonna tell you guys come to me in secret. Yeah, I have well, I can put it like this. Um, the four major groups that I see competing and watching them, one of the reasons that the competition so close is ego. They too, to be the best, you got to be humble. You're
Mm,
not gonna like being cocky. And most of them, because I know all four of the lead drummers in each group, and the reason they can't separate the win five best music like I did is because they don't take the time to stop being I and become us.
mm. So they're not
Because
building a team.
no, they not. See, if I stand here and say I'm the best, um, I think the best dancer is Darren and the same guy right here I talking to on Zoom and McKay. Because when they came out, some I think some anthropologist with the ants them, and he danced on the side of all of it with McKay. That's when I learned that they made Waller what he was when it comes to dancing with those two dancers on the side. So I
Mm,
studied that and I use it in the back line that I need a Robin. I need a Robin. And so I'm like, but I don't need one Robin, I need five. And so what I did, I formed five guys to be better than me.
mm,
Because if the Wally lose, they still gonna say Kim. If we win, it's still Kim. So I take I out the equation and I put team.
mm,
You cannot the drummers, yeah, you might have team around you, but you the light always on you. So that is not team. Team is when you decrease. And that's what I did when I went to family. I never when it came to Bay Street, I went to the back and built them. The thing about winning music is that you can be a good leader, but the impartation of leadership is not in the demonstration of your hand on the drums, but to be able to give people a mindset that they could win, and they the best, and that's how I was able to dominate Junkanoo for so much years. It wasn't because I was the best kickoff man or unquote or one of the best or whatever you want, whatever rate you want to give me. But I know one thing: every group that does family, Saxon, Roots, and all of it, when they get to the point to realize that the guys that are beating for you, if they're willing to die for you, that's when you become the best. Whatever I tell the back line, if they hand bleeding, they back hurting, they ain't stopping, they dying for me. But that's come from love and appreciation. You have to treat them like they superstars.
Another point that you brought up is how you so love this Bahamian music and what we have and how it's so unique. Do you think on a national level, do you think on a wider scale that we understand the uniqueness that we have with this Junkanoo music?
Yes, that was established from the Smithsonian. We was in the front of over 1 million people. That was established there. We had all the greats there, from Chippy, Tina Taylor. We had everybody there. We performed. That was the greatest show we put on. And so, if we look at what we did there, that would tell the world we on a different thing. And so, moving forward, I mean, if we only, for me personally, that's why I saying today to my good friend Ali Nash and to Darren, I only a phone call away because he have my numbers. He have no excuse. I thank God he called me. But anything I can do, I willing to help because I feel like as we get older, this younger generation have to carry this culture. This can't, it should not die. And for me, I hope that I could do some things in this coming year to help as much person as I could. But the thing about it is everybody going to be loyal to one group, and I trying to tell them I am a pastor now in church, and I have a different mandate. But the skills that I have, I would love to continue to pass it on. But the thing about it is that only so much I can do, because everyone have a mindset that they have their way now, because this is the new generation as far as they're concerned, and they arrive. But I guarantee you, show me your group, what could win 3 straight. Don't say Saxon win 2 straight, because they don't count it when I count. I mean, they win it, ain't me. But at the end of the day, when I walk in the back line, I have confidence to tell you I win in music. How much of them could do that? At this age today, I could put on a drum.
I think we lost that connection just for a few seconds there. We're gonna wait for him to reconnect back, but I think this is very exciting to hear. You know, somebody who have actually sit inside the leadership position, but actually started from ground up behind a lot of greats. Folks, we're gonna run to a break. When we get back, we're gonna pick up the conversation. You're tuning into Junkanoo 242. We'll be right back.
Yeah, sorry for that. But I will say one thing before I say, like, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, hold on. We went to a break, though. We went to a break.
Okay, sorry for that.
Okay, no problem.
Princess Margaret Hospital.
Coming up this week on The Youth Perspective.
Well, from a young age, I always liked the water. I would ask my mom to go to the beach every day. Like she tells her friends, it was up to me. We would live on the beach. And I got into sailing at the age of 9, 10. I was introduced to it by a friend who actually attended the summer camp, and he knew that I liked the water, and his mom recommended it to my mom, and I told my mom that I wanted to try it, and here I am now.
The Youth Perspective, where we shine the light on the youth of our nation. You don't want to miss this episode each Saturday at 7:30 p.m. on 1540 a.m. Power 104.5 FM, the national voice of the Bahamas.
The Princess Margaret Hospital Blood Bank is in urgent need of blood donations of all types. Blood bank hours of operation are as follows. Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The last donor will be accepted at 4:30 p.m. On Sundays, the blood bank is closed. Identification needed for donation include your NIB card or driver's license. Do not attempt to donate if you are sick or experiencing respiratory symptoms. Do not come to the blood bank in large groups, as we will be accommodating 3 persons at a time. For more information on how you can become a blood donor or instructions on what to do before coming to donate blood, please contact the blood bank at 502-7822.
Dependable, dependable.
As we another year of God's grace, mercy, and nationwide broadcasting. Join us May 29th, 10 a.m. for a church anniversary service live from the Faith United Missionary Baptist Church, Faith United Way, as Radio Bahamas celebrates 86 continuous years of informative, educational, entertaining, and inspirational radio broadcasts. Tune in as we continue to ensure that only the sun covers the Bahamas better than Radio Bahamas.
It doesn't matter what comes my way.
ZNS Radio, celebrating 86 years.
Intentional.
Examples of excellence. From his Junkanoo debut with the motorboat Junkanoo Group in 1975, Philip E. Carey, better known to us as Phil the Bill, has been an important part of the Junkanoo community. His His stints with the Happy Youths and the Valley Boys led to the acquisition of many Junkanoo skills, and all of these he utilized fully in later forming his own group, the Redland Soldiers. The union with Mr. Arthur Gibson in the year 2003 and the formation of the One Love Soldiers Junkanoo group led to a new record in the B division of 6 consecutive wins. And then it was back to Redland. And Phil continues to be a powerful influence in his community as, through his Junkanoo efforts, so many young people are inspired to lead productive lives. Phil the Bill Carey, distinguished gentleman of Junkanoo, this week's deserving inductee into the Junkanoo 242 Shack of Excellence.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Junkanoo 242. Phil the Bill. Wow. wow.
Phil the Bill.
Listening to that tribute just now, it really took me back to One Love Soldiers. That was a powerful group.
Absolutely. They made quite a dent.
Yes.
So
where did we leave off in our discussion? I think we were talking, something, Tim, you kept talking, and it slipped me earlier. You kept talking throughout the conversation about your father. Tell us who your father is. I think we sort of missed that nugget. Who was your father?
Living legend. He was one of them core founders of the Valley Boys back in the early 60s, I guess, or even later than that. And he was a pioneer in the Valley for many, many years. One of the, I'll say maybe on the second line of the drum line. And so he was one of those cornerstone. And he was very disciplined. So whatever he did, he always tried had one of his sons to follow in his footsteps. So I guess that was me. But he was an athlete, a drummer, and someone who pioneered in Junkanoo. I think I don't know if he ever rushed with any other group, because he was so passionate with the Valley Boys that if you talk another group, that's a problem in our house. You couldn't bring no other costume there, but him and Darrell Burris and the whole crew, they was there for, I can't even remember, but I sure as so much years. So it had to be way before I born, because I 50 something, so I sure that's about 60 something years and that inside the Valley Boys. And so my whole family, all through Camp Road, everyone was in the Valley Boys. So that's what he did all his life. And in fact, his home celebration was in the month of the year he loved so much, which was in December. So that's what he was. One of the lead drummers in the Valley Boys for many, many, many years. And I think all that discipline and desire to win came from him, because he don't like to lose. He believed the Valley Boys been there, even sometimes they lose, he's still saying they win. So fast he can say that the Valley is the best group in the world. So he instilled that into me, that I will be faithful to this organization and carry that legacy on as far as I could.
What is his name? What was his name?
Christopher Deuce Thompson.
Christopher Deuce Thompson. All right.
Yeah, that's the living legend.
You, other than Junkanoo, you are also a cyclist. What? So tell us about that, and what else it is that you do.
Yeah, it's amazing though, when I take over the Valley Boys that at age 13, that's when I won the first national road championship of the Commonwealth Bahamas at age 13. And so different from Junkanoo, my passion was cycling, because my dad, even though he was a Junkanooer, he was also a professional cyclist. And so at age 13, I was competing against the Burnside brothers. I ever was competing against people way older than me, and I think that pushed me into becoming mature as a teenager, but not with the mind. And so when I get in my 20s, I didn't have that passion like I wanted no more, because I felt I was burned out, because I wasn't competing in a category where I could just ride with guys 13 and 11. I had to go up against like Sidney Sinclair, all the the Burnside brothers, you name them, I was competing against them. And so at age 14, 15, 16, I became unstoppable. And then I started racing in Florida as a semi-pro with Coral Bay Bike Shop. And then, placed forward in Garifta. And then I began to travel Pan Am Games, CAC Games, Commonwealth Games, World Championship. And so my life was a roller coaster. And so all that was trying to follow in the footsteps of my father. And so, like I say, I accomplished all of this early. So when Preston saw me step back from Bay Street, it wasn't that I didn't have the passion for Junkanoo, but I got to a point where I was doing this from I was in my teens, at age 10, 11, I was training like 50 miles a day, 5 days a week. And so when I bring that into Junkanoo, Junkanoo didn't make it just, I came with that. And that's why that winning formula was easy, because I had no choice. I didn't have, these kids today, they get to decide what they want to do. And my parents is like, either they way or no way. When you get to become man, you can tell me, but right now, this is what you're doing. And so I had military training from 10. My parents wake me up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I do 50 miles on my bike. And school out another 50 miles, and this for a whole year before I even start competing. And so when my daddy get up and say, his son can do this, or I can win, or I can do that, he wasn't talking because he was guessing. He know the work he put in me. Even Junkanoo, when he say, if he told us a couple of times, Mr. Cooper, on many occasions, if you want to win, you got to go get Kimmy back. So even when I was in Freeport with China, the monument is bringing China, I'd already quit. I get a phone call from Brian Hadley, tell me the boss said he need to see me. So I said, man, I've been retired. I feel like rushing. And that's when I just went with that family. After family went the parade, I became me. I quit, no more Junkanoo. So once they know I quit, they bring me back. And then we went with China. So it was like, there was nothing more for me to accomplish. So I started just focus on cycling. Then after that, I think Arlene like this part. I went to church, and after I get church, I give Christ my life, and the rest is history. So from then I just was in church, and now I have my own ministry, Feed the Nation Prophetic Ministry. And so I am preaching hard. I am trying to lay hands on the sick and see them being recovered. And that same passion I had for Junkanoo, I have it for God. And I think Junkanoo was important for me, because even right now when I preach, they feel like what have me so passionate and so aggressive, and so everything I do, I sound so hyper. Well, I come from Junkanoo hyper, and so that same spirit I had to do on the streets to put our culture out there and perform to the highest level is the same passion I take in ministry. I don't do it halfway. I get up 6, I pray every morning 6 with my ministry. I do the 7 days a week, 365 days. And so I thank God make me one of the most awesome pastors in the world. I don't even say it in the Bahamas. Junkanoo make me the same passion and the love that I have for my culture and being the best. I take that in God. So the passion I have for ministry and to be on Bay Street and do Junkanoo, I'm serious in my walk with God. So when you see me now, it ain't no more Jordan and Junkanoo, it's Pastor Thompson now. Arlene, that's for you now. I know I've been watching you for many years. Arlene is a woman stay in church, so let them know that rub off for me too. Everybody laughing at me.
No, because on this show a lot we talk about the influences of Junkanoo and how we can use it as a catalyst, in the youth arm and in the lives of people. Do you think we're even tapping into Junkanoo in that in that way enough, or at all?
Let me ask you something. Junkanoo was so important because when I right now I'm happy that I talking to y'all because you can help me have peace in my home. And I appreciate Darren calling me because when I began to tell that's why I need Junkanoo to not die, because I have married my wife on Zoom. She on now listening to me talk, because when I tell her that I don't have an equal in Junkanoo, My equal is Alexander Green because I will never oppose my senior. He was senior to me. So no matter how good I get, I say this live on radio. You must not disrespect your elder. He paved the way for me. Everything I learned from him. And I come underneath him. And without Alexander Green and my era, there's no drummer behind or around me could touch me different from that young man. And I call him young because he feel like he ain't getting old. So Alexander Green, I thank you for making me what I is today. Much respect. But when I tell my wife that there's no drummer in the Bahamas could deal with me, he think I just be saying that. And so I want to hear this morning that I am a living legend and I'm not just bragging. Because when she hear people in Freeport say, or call me Jordan the Junkanoo, because they have no history to see, only what I say. And that's sad because people like Alexander Green, myself, and the great Davy Port, we make these drummers today. That's why Ruben and the rest of them, and Rico and Keno, them, they carrying on and they performing, and I have much respect for them. But when the time come, what do we have to say? We were one of the icon on Bay Street. You know, I 50 something, I still ain't have a jacket yet to say I was one of the best on Junkanoo. But that's okay. But I want to be the best in God now. So just remember that Junkanoo have me a pastor today. Sowing Seed Ministry to Clyde Avenue. Minister Higgins was over there. And when he saw the Junkanoo in the church, my pastor got the bells and I got my drum, and listen here, it's like we on Bay Street, so I never miss Bay Street. So every Sunday morning, he say, Evangelist, get the drum. Man, listen here, we have Junkanoo in the church. So let me tell you something. If you think Junkanoo in the church, come Freeport and Clyde Avenue. Apostle Ken Strong, he grabbing them cowbells. And trust me, that drummer, he said, man, he can't preach until a war beat start. Once I start beating a war beat, he preached like a man gone crazy. And he said, man, Kim, he said, brother Kim, I love Junkanoo. And so our ministry, before I left it for 5 years, I was beating in church every Sunday. So I didn't have time to worry about Junkanoo. Junkanoo coming once a year, but I was able to beat every Sunday. And so our church, our praise and worship was Junkanoo, and I believe right now he's still doing that today. And in my ministry, I beat on top of the pulpit because when the Holy Ghost hit me, I start knocking. I have to be Junkanoo in the church. We got to make music. Music is God. He said, enter into my gates with praise and thanksgiving. The church, you got to beat spirit with music. And trust me, Junkanoo have me passionate. The same energy that I use on Bay Street, I use it in my ministry. Even on my job, I work with excellence. Junkanoo called for excellence. I got that from my. I don't work halfway. If you look at me sitting here, just how I dress, I am clean. Just how we be clean. Listen, Captain Clean at me. I represent a product of excellence. I do everything at a high standard. I don't know how to be average. Junkanoo did that. So when people look at Junkanoo, it's just we rushing down Bay Street. We ain't got no sense. Man, the most educated people in the world in Junkanoo. And we take our skills and we use it to perfect our craft. And so when you see me dress up to work, I don't just put my uniform on because I try and outdo someone. I represent a company. And so when I represent them, it's how I look, my mannerism, how I present myself. All those things I learned from Junkanoo. And if anyone know that Mr. Winston, Gus Cooper, the Valley Boys, I come under a disciplined group. You couldn't drink, you couldn't smoke, you couldn't do nothing in a shop. And I came up in the 80s where discipline was important, but yet they'll say Junkanoo, the most negative things with Junkanoo. But how come today I became one of the best in the world in cycling? It ain't got nothing to do with Junkanoo based on what people say. And one of the best sea drive operators in the world, not just the Bahamas. Advanced tugs, rotor tugs that our country never seen. The first time the Bahamas have tugs, in Nassau, which are Z-drive tugs. I drive these in Freeport, the most advanced boat in the world. Learned them less than a week. That came from Junkanoo and discipline and dedication and desire. To be the best in Junkanoo, it take discipline. It take time, it take focus. But yet, we don't pass this on throughout our school system. We do it, and it ain't doing enough. We need more funding in that area, because if you could get young men and young women to focus on this craft, it takes discipline, it takes focus, it takes vision. So how in the world we could even imagine that Junkanoo is a major part of us? Well,
Wow.
I'm a product of Junkanoo, and I have my ministry, I focus, and believe me when I tell you this, I have a drum right now. As soon as I talk to Thompson, I tune it up and I start beating the change. You just kicked me back. I'll even put a hand up like this.
Yes, the drum, where the drum is now. I want to hear the drum now.
Well, Ali, the good thing about it, right? I promise you that Labor Day, I can make sure I stay back just for Labor Day, because the country being closed. So, I don't know which group I can come to, right? I think Darren knows, so I can let Darren be in charge of this.
I know. Boss. I want yes.
If Ali want here, well, I promise you, I have to come on Labor Day, because it's been so long that I haven't seen Bay Street like that. You know, I assist one or two. I mean, the Mason. I think I rushed with New Year's parade. But to be honest, once I in Nassau, I can be a part of Junkanoo again, because Junkanoo ain't got nothing to do with the church. The church need Junkanoo, because to get all on spirit of the church, you need to make some noise.
Yeah.
On that note, we're gonna run to our final break. When we get back, we're gonna pick up this exciting story. Look what Junkanoo is do. You're tuning in to Junkanoo 242.
What you scared of?
Rami, if I tip off the police and somebody find out,
Ain't nobody to find out. Crime Stoppers ain't the police. They just does works with the police.
same difference.
No, boy. With Crime Stoppers, you're safe. When you call their number, it lists the Bahamas all together and go directly to Miami or Toronto, Canada. Ain't nobody to know or that you name Bertram or that you live down the alley.
Rami, you realize you IDing me right now?
Boy, I raise no criminal. If you see what's going down, call Crime Stoppers. They get no personal info. They just give you a PIN number.
So how you know so much about them?
You think Uncle get a Fox Hill?
You serious?
If he won't be canned, I able to turn him in.
So Uncle know you was a snitch?
Crime Stoppers ain't never gonna tell nobody. And for top info, they just give you cash.
You get paid and all?
You eating good, right? The light's still on, eh?
Rami!
Wait your man up. Stop the crime before it's your time. Huh?
Call 328-TIPS or from the Family Islands 242-300 tips.
Public service announcement was brought to you by Crime Stoppers in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Anthony Marshall was a man who loved his country and loved to worship. Known as the infamous Fatback, he had a love for Junkanoo music and young people. It was this love that gave birth to Fatback's Kids Club. Whenever on the air, listeners would sit by the radio patiently just to hear his infamous words. Oh, sookie, sookie now. These words would cause the faces of Bahamians far and wide to glow with excitement.
ZMS Radio, celebrating 86 years.
Dependable girl.
As we embark upon another year of God's grace, mercy, and nationwide broadcasting, join us May 29th, 10 a.m. for a church anniversary service live from the Faith United Missionary Baptist Church, Faith United Way, as Radio Bahamas celebrates 86 continuous years of informative, educational, entertaining, and inspirational radio broadcasts. Tune in as we continue to ensure that only the sun covers the Bahamas better than Radio Bahamas.
It doesn't matter what comes my
ZMS Radio, celebrating 86 years.
In intentional, intentional.
And now for the news. Off the shack wall. Happy birthday greetings to Fred Callender, Denari Roll, Leona Big Mama Davis, and Cheyenne Chipman. And to everyone else who celebrate their birthdays in the upcoming week, we wish you a happy and a blessed new year. Condolences to the family of everybody who are grieving loss of their loved ones at this time. Our hearts and our prayers, our thoughts are truly with you. I want to say congratulations to all of the graduates. We are in graduation season. So all of those graduates, congratulations as you go on to this next chapter of your life. We are so proud of you. Another announcement is June 1st. June 1st is on Wednesday. June 1st marks some significant things in the country and in Junkanoo. June 1st is the official start of hurricane season. Bastian, we ain't taking no excuses with your shack this year, my brother. Okay?
Big man.
Prepare. Buy two top. Okay? That's number one. Number two is June 1st is the deadline for participation in the upcoming Junkanoo Parade. If your registration form is not in and you are a registered group with the JCNP, you will not be participating after June 1st. I don't think the deadline is going to be extended. So June 1st is the deadline.
I guarantee you, based on recent incidences, if somebody goes after June 1st, they can still rush.
No sweat.
No sweat. But anyway, and I stand on that, right? But I want to also congratulate the Cancer Society of the Bahamas as they're celebrating their 20th anniversary. Their ball this evening. Just want to congratulate them on that, and to remind it to all patrons, if you're going to the ball, you must have a vaccination card or a negative COVID test. So congratulations, Cancer Society of the Bahamas.
Wow.
All right, and it is Saturday, May 28th. We are 33-0 hopeful weeks away from Bay.
33-0?
3-0. We are 3-0. 30 weeks. 3-0. Okay?
I was wondering what that was. You said 33-0. I was wondering what that was, but maybe I was hearing something else.
I don't want you hearing no excuses, but your costume ain't ready. That's what.
I said it in my registration on June the 2nd.
But I ain't getting involved in that. Okay?
You're throwing rough. I said in my registration June the 2nd.
I am not getting.
Couple rock you throw.
Yeah, okay.
I said June the 2.
June ND.
ND.
The 2 ND.
You will dare a man to refuse you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I want him to say something. You
my hands are tied in that regard, sir.
Yeah, anyway, you got to take responsibility for all of them.
Oh my goodness.
But the truth will come out on that matter. We'll talk about that later. The truth will come out on that matter.
Well, boy, I tell you, boy, you really stirred the pot this morning.
Everybody want to know. We'll talk about that next week.
Okay.
But I can wait till June the 3rd. And
yeah. I just was
Andy, not RD, Andy. Not RD. Andy.
I don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time we just call for order in court. Welcome back. We are in the final segment of Junkanoo 242. We have only a few minutes for our closing statements. I want to read a comment from Facebook This says, good morning all. Arlene, please let Kim know Haki is watching and tell him I say morning and I value his assistance with the young drummers who I am honored to groom. That's nice. Kimmy, did you hear that? Yes. Haki
Yes,
is
ma'am.
you.
Yeah, Hockey's my boy. Hockey's my boy. But I
He's
love
doing
them
a
though.
phenomenal.
I speak Mason a lot. Pardon?
He's doing a phenomenal job with the young
Yeah.
drummers with the Saxons. We've had him on at least twice,
Yes.
and we are
Yes.
admiring his
Yeah.
work. And he is thanking you.
Yeah. That's something I see for me personally. The things that I do in secret because of the scriptures, it say what you're doing in secret, God will reveal openly. And you don't need to do things looking for fame. So whatever I do it in honor of the Most High. A lot of young guys in the Mason edition that they was involved in Junkanoo, they were so disciplined to just listen. So as I go through there, I do my best to give impartation, and then you see the results. The Boxing Day, the last two parade, a lot of them came to me and told me, man, I appreciate you, motivate me to do what I did, but I say someone had to do it for me. And that's why I always look back at what Eddie Ford did for me at my young age in Junkanoo to say, listen, even though he 13, let him start. And so for me, I believe that if someone opened a door for me to become what I is today, I always believe that it's my time to give back. You know, so but this Labor Day, I definitely will be on Bay Street, and so you'll be able to get some good turnover. So you ain't gotta hear today. I can make sure you hear this Friday, the first Friday in June. I only wish the number was turned around to number 1 so I could hurry up and catch the plane.
Sounds like a plan.
I said what. I didn't.
Now you know who we rushing with, eh?
Now we know
right? But I can move one and put it. I can move the first number and put it to the back so I can be the last plane to leave. Darren going quiet just now.
No. You may be coming out. You may be coming out third ND and not third RD. I know.
Yeah, but see, if I go first, I can go straight to the airport and catch the 12 o'clock flight. So it's important. No, you got to make that space for me. So, because this ain't about no group. This is about me catching the plane 12 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So when I come off the ship, just give me one space.
So you live in Freeport now?
Yeah, Freeport is my home. I hear just on week, and I work a week on and a week off. So when I off, I head back to Grand Bahama, the lovely island of Grand Bahama, where the roads are big and we ain't have so much cars. The cars go slow. So I love it.
Just show off, right, Arlene? You hear that? Just showing off.
How you mean show off? Our roads are narrow because they've been around from the 1660s.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What we don't have in width of road, we have in history and heritage. Don't try that on me.
But you know, you're the teacher, so I humble myself. But it's a pleasure. I thank you all so much for having this opportunity. But I pray that at least now my family, when you see that name to the bottom, but saying Chantel Thompson, that was my wife. So I don't have to have that date no more when I go home. That's why I said, Darren, please let me come on, because I need my family to stop telling me. Because, you know, for me personally, and I think a lot of legends are out there that made a great impartation into our culture.
Yes.
And so sometimes, even with me, I'll be the first to say on national
radio
and to the nation that there are some things I make that I made some mistake, even in Junkanoo, that loyalty is so important in an organization. And so for me, if I had one regret, it would have been just staying loyal to my group, because I think that hindered me in my jacket and other stuff. But at the end of the day, for me personally, I felt like I couldn't achieve nothing under the shadow of other persons. And I just fall in love with Stan and Jackson. They was my friends. And I just had to be with my friends. They loved me. So I had to hang with them and I meet Ali and then that one was over.
Alain Costes.
I had to stick to that too, all right?
Alain Costes. Oh, gee. All right. Well,
Stan and Jackson had a real vision for what Junkanoo could be beyond competition on Bay Street. And they were able to infuse that into an entire group of people and help them to see that vision that Junkanoo is about community building first and foremost. And that is why the group that they started has the word family, Junkanoo, and community juxtaposed in the name itself. And so we will continue to be grateful to the two of them. And you are a demonstration of how far their reach has gotten.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that.
Well,
but I thank you.
So go ahead.
Yeah, I thank God because that's what opened my eyes that Junkanoo was more than just street. Because when I began to hear the vision and the direction, I began to stop seeing first place on Bay Street. I began to see who I could empower college to, that this legacy could keep on going. And then the outreach began to do in the community. It just shift my mindset. And so I couldn't go back to the old Kim. I had to move different. And so it got me in a lot of problems. But today, when I look at my life and look at what Junkanoo has helped me to accomplish, it made me be disciplined in every area of my life. I don't have bad habits. Don't drink, don't smoke. I don't have them habits. I discipline. And I thank Gus Cooper for that. When I look at Mola, I can check out each leader in our culture that give me impartation and make me successful today. That I can look back and say, if it wasn't for Junkanoo, where would I have been? I would have been mixed up in all kinds of other stuff. But Junkanoo kept me disciplined and focused. And I take that same energy into my personal life. Being on time, I work on the job 14 years, not one day late, not one day off. Never miss a day from work. That's because of Junkanoo. But some reason, persons out there believe that Junkanoo was a bad influence. But when you look back at some of the leaders we have today and look at what they said in life, because of that same discipline from Junkanoo. Junkanoo is just bigger than Bay Street.
Amen. Bigger than Bay. Good morning, Genesis. Bigger than Bay. And so, ladies and gentlemen, on that very powerful note, we bring this morning's show to a close. Kimmy has said some very powerful things. We thank you for being here. The comment that I will carry with me is, I don't know how to be average. Junkanoo did that. And that is a powerful, powerful comment that I will be quoting him on amongst many other powerful things he said.
Yes.
And so, Kimmy, thank you for staying with us this morning. We'll have you back again at some point. And ladies and gentlemen, on that beautiful note, we thank you for being with us this morning. This is Junkanoo 242. It's all about you wherever you are in the 242. And until next week, stay safe. Practice all safety protocols, especially on Labor Day, and make sure now that we let everything that we do prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are all proud to be Bahamian. We'll see you next week.
Amen. Y'all be good.
You